Sweet. So this week's analysis, right? I'm going to write it up actually as we're talking right now. But what I'm looking at is I'm seeing how the monthly has the potential to come back into this area, retest the EMA, retest the monthly, support resistance, and why I have a bias of price pushing here is one, we can see price close down in this area in 2 weeks' time. The weekly has been pulling back, indication of a potential lower low, higher low around this area from this candle. The EMA is also here, which you could use to push up. The daily then, left head, right shoulder, break, lower high, rejection. So many rejections to the after trying to push up. Then the 4 hour is holding that bearish momentum beautifully. You've just seen the breakout of the price, strong push up, consolidation, breakout, and we're looking for that retest to continue the 4 hour breakout down to these lows. Because of these lows, we have that 2 hour support price pushed from, and we have that daily EMA, which has the effect as you've previously seen. So that'll be our exit area as well as psychological level. But what I'm currently looking for is, as you can see, right, the market went bullish, shifted bearish, had a tiny, not a real lower high, but now we've got a real lower high where we can take the position here, stop loss above, take profit down there for a 1 to 2. Lovely. That's all we're looking for. If we get that engulfing, that's what we're going to be looking for. Closing below, you see how we broke retest underneath this EMA, shifted structure on the 15-minute or 5-minute, shifted that internal structure for that lower high to come back up. 30 minutes shifted for that lower high to come back up. Obviously, we trade higher time frames, so we take the trade in 8 minutes. I'm just going to write up all the confluences right now. Okay. Don't be bullish. Right. Big C. Shit. Pop down to the daily. Do we have a psychological level here? Yes, we do. Four hour, any confluences on the 4 hour? No. We got no candlestick rejection, no EMA, no psychological level. But then we do have that 1 hour shift of structure at this area of interest, which is what we'd like to see. Right? And then potentially the 1 hour engulfing. So you got 20, 30, 40, 50, 55, that'll be 65, which is all we need for a trade. D plus grade trade. Very nice, very nice. So we go position calculator. You can't see this, but my FX book position calculator. Euro USD. Account size. Risk ratio 2%. Stop loss. We see a pullback into this area. I like that stop. You know, 1 hour closes as an engulfing. Uses this EMA to hold price down. That would hold price down below this. It might see a little wick up, this continuation. That's how I'm looking at the market. That's how I want to see the market play out. See how the EMA came down, and now it's starting to tilt back underneath. Everything lines up beautifully for this. 30 pip stop loss. And we'll simply wait for that, right? We've currently got 2 5Ks and a 1K. So we've got 3% to risk on the alpha capital in total. I don't know if we can see this. Where's the camera? Where the fuck's the camera? There it is. So we have 3% total. So we're going to risk. No, sorry, we've got 4% total to risk on this. So we're going to put 3% risk, 4% risk on this alpha capital. We're going to go full risk on this position, on this account. Then we're going to go 2% risk on our aqua funded, right? Aqua funded 5K and then an aqua funded 10K. We're going to go 2% risk on both of those accounts to keep within the daily max. The daily max loss is like 3%, I think. So we've got 2% risk on those. 4%. We'll go 4% risk on alpha capital. Risk the account on this trade. We've got 4% left. We could risk 2% across them all. 4% would be 1 to 8. If it hits, then it brings the account 8%. What are we down? I'm currently down 6%, so we put it up 100, 5,001. Put me up 2%. If it loses, I lose the account. It is what it is. I have another account. I'm not really fussed. But this is pretty much just trading, just waiting around for this candle to close. We'd never take a trade until it closes, because the market could easily reverse in this last 10 seconds, all the way up here, closes a doji. And then you're like, fuck, but it was an engulfing. So we've got my 10K risk calculated, 30 pips. 2% risk on a 5,000 account, 0.33 lots. So entering this one with 0.66 lots. Go 0.666. 0.66. Just actually gonna fucking get the difference account sizes up. What time are we on? 59. Behave yourself down. 3%, stop loss and pips, 30, calculate, 0.67. We're getting ready, bro, we're getting ready. Euro, it's already on it. What's the spread? 3 spread. Euro USD on the 10K account. What is that? 0.67 for a 2% risk with a 30 pip stop loss. And it's 2% risk on 0.33, that's pretty much half. All right, sell the market, bro. Sell the market. If I can screen record this shit as well. Euro USD sell. Trade 0.33, I believe. Yeah, you have 2% risk sell. Then my Alpha Capital. Euro USD trade. We're gonna go 0.67, same percent. So always got to get the screen record and put it on Instagram. Sorry, that chewing gum's loud, I've been told. Right, now that that's ended, let me get rid of these. So you know what I'm looking for in Euro USD. Very simple, trade to the downside. Next pair, there's a potential to see a bearish push from this potential lower high. If price continues to reject on the daily and shifts below the EMA, I'll be more interested until I will monitor its CR price reacts to this area of interest. So the retest is still nice. You know, you can see 1, 2, 3 pushed away. 1, 2. It might take another 1, 3 to push away or break back above. But ideally, what I want to see on this, that was this loss we took last week. But ideally, what we want to see on this is some 4-hour shift of structure under the EMA, just like price did here. Shift of structure under the EMA. Same thing here. But again, incorporating the higher time frames. A little evening style potentially forming here. You know, waiting for price to sell off. The monthly we could see consolidation, right? Because we're at a strong area of interest. We've just had a big rejection candle indicating a potential reversal. So if price is going to reverse from here, we can expect price to come up with the momentum, stop, and then push back down. And this stop could be however big, but obviously not massive. So we could still expect price to push down to this level, right? Which on the monthly is a little engulfing, which we could then have that wick pullback and then big push. And on the daily, that's to the previous lows, you know, or we could even wick in the previous lows, push back up a little, yada yada yada, have that wick pullback, boom. I don't know. What I'd like to see for stronger confirmations for a buy is price to push up to the 4-hour and 2-hour EMA. A daily engulfing, reject the EMAs to create the lower high. and enter from there with the daily morning star to push up and fill the weekly wick just created, and to push up for the monthly to retest the head and the shoulders and see the weekly push up with strong bullish momentum to see the next week have a doji sellers battling strong buying pressure for the monthly to close at the neckline of its head and shoulders, and then allow the next month to continue the push of the neckline. Yeah, we're looking for that push up. We've had the rejection. We're looking for this push up. Do I think we could see it this month? Maybe. Maybe it could be next month that we see this push to the upside. You know, see that wick fill the next month. But for a weekly shifting structure having this rejection, you know, we could still see another weak rejection into this area, little left head, right shoulder again, push back up. But we need another candle realistically on the weekly to create a nicer pullback, you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, next week, boom. So in the meantime, we're just going to be waiting to see for the confirmation on the daily, because the daily will indicate to us when we're going to push, just like it did here. Tweeze the bottom, push, the wick pullback, boom. One candle pullback, boom. You know, so all we're waiting for is that bullish candle rejection, enter on the 4-hour higher low, etc. Just like price did here. Look. Push, higher low, boom. Above the EMA, rejecting the EMA. Above the daily EMA, boom. That's all we're waiting for. Let's go up to this side. I don't see any significant area on the weekly price. On the weekly, where price has printed this graveyard doji, and it makes me think this could be a wick fill in the making to push up and retest previous structure. The EMA and strong resistance area on the monthly before fulfilling the monthly head and shoulders. This is a similar variation of CAD JPY, but not as clean overall, but both having the same bias to push to the upside for a better weekly position to push, as well as the monthly area, which closes in weeks. In 2 weeks, 1 week strong push, another week slow rejection, or another week slow and then a week push, closing the monthly at these levels, and then a continuation. I have a vision for what I would like to see, and that is the morning star on the daily, shifting the 4-hour bullish and then 4-hour higher low. Typical entry shit. At the area of interest, price now broken above. So yeah, left head, right shoulder. You know, with strong support. Every time we're at this support, we push up, we push up. We can anticipate for price to push up again, you know? We come on the weekly. Weekly sort of create this like left head, right shoulder. We could expect for price it's still bullish, so to push up, come close, retest this. EMA comes into the zone for that monthly push then. But of course, we want to see, we saw left head, right shoulder, break, retest. Now we're just looking for a close above the EMA and do what we've previously done. Shift the 4-hour bullish, like that's beautiful. Genuinely beautiful structure right here. Because what you do not understand, right? The fuck are my alert lines? Because what you need to understand is now price has shifted. This is our lower high. So if we were to make this move now, we shift bullish, we can create a higher low here. And if we see that daily impulse, that daily engulfing, that'll be a strong 4-hour push, which will drag the EMA up into this area for when we come back to retest it and the previous structure to then make a push to the upside. You have to think ahead. It's like chess. You have to think so many moves ahead. You have to plan what you want to see, plan how the market can play out in your favor to your strategy. Like if it doesn't do that, it's cool. It might continue pushing down. But if it does push up, I know what I want to look for. How many pairs have I got? Lord of mercy. I need a drink, man. Right. Fuck, wrote a lot. Seeing how the weekly is in a range, we've just reached the support. Obviously, expectation is to go to resistance, but looking at what price may indicate, this will see the monthly time frame is still overall bullish, and has held the previous structure of the support since last year, indicating buyers' intention to hold the market up bullish. And on the weekly price, now above the EMA, repeating similar pattern on the first rejection of the consolidation. Support on the weekly also saw a wick fill. The daily is also creating a very clean market structure to the upside and above the EMA and the previous structure point. The 4-hour structure could be nice if we push down to create a lower high for price, then create a shift of structure and retest a higher low, which would mean another slow bearish candle for the 4-hour to do so, and then the daily bullish rejection. This market looks like a day or two behind the other JPY pairs, which have rejected and retested with a shift of structure already. Yeah, bullish. I can see price still push down maybe. Market's still bearish. I don't believe that this wick is it. I feel like we could still potentially fill this wick. You know, it's not clean, don't get me wrong. It's filthy on the monthly. But rejection, 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 rejection. We're now looking for that continuation. Have a nice close up here, and we could potentially see the overall continuation of the trend. You never know. That's high hopes, though. That's very high hopes. You know, price push down, rejects it. The market usually has a rejection to the upside, rejection to the upside, rejection to the upside, rejection. So we're just looking for that rejection, which we've had. Now price is above this midpoint on the daily. We're looking for that continuation. Continuation. Price faked out this time. Price faked out that time. So there is that potential. We've seen previously we faked out both times. So we could see that evening star form to continue push down and do some shenanigans. But if price is to break up, price on the daily looks beautiful for a buy. So we'll definitely wait to see how that plays out. 4-hour. Again, exactly that. Which is doing it. Like the first 4-hour candle on Sunday, push down, shifted structure, then we just need to monthlies at a high. No, I'm not right on this. Maybe not. Monthlies at a high. Weeklies at a high, and it's rejecting. So we could potentially see that push down for the monthly overall, looking to push to the downside or continue up. But seeing the rejections, we've seen strong push up, rejection, shooting star indicating a potential reversal point. Then we have a doji at that point after a bullish engulfing, showing that how strong sellers are at this price. The daily's overall bearish, shifting bearish here, pulling back. Doji rejection, shooting star, small bearish candle. And now we're simply just waiting for the confirmation off the lower time frame for the daily to play out, which will be left head, right shoulder. It's doing it beautifully right now. It's a bit off, but you need that right shoulder. Right shoulder to break. EMA, go time. That's what we're looking for. Next bear. I'm looking to see price push the downside following the weekly trend and rejection to close the monthly down at the consolidation support over the next 2 weeks before we see an overall push to the upside again. And this daily breakout from the higher low to create a shift of structure to signal the weekly bearish trend kicking in again. Right, so the monthly, we haven't closed down here. We've previously closed, then had a push, closed down here, then had a push. We're still up here. Yes, we previously did it here, but before we did that, we closed down here. You can see we closed here, then we came down, then we pushed up. So just looking at that little fact, I'm like, okay, price still has the potential to pull back into this zone before we overall push up. Why do I say that? I say that because I'm looking at the weekly and seeing how price 1, 2, 3 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks pull back to the EMA previous structure. Structure wise, you can see this just going wick retest maybe, boom. So now when I'm looking at the weekly, I'm like, okay, we could see price just faff about here, then make a push. But what I'm waiting to see on the daily for confirmation of this sell-off is exactly that. Break, retest, little left head, right shoulder, boom. That's the trade I'm looking for. Underneath this EMA, underneath the area of interest. Super simple. Patience, my brother, patience. Break out of this beautiful correction. Watch. Look at that. If that breaks out to the downside as well, I might push to the upside, we don't know. But USDK, motherfucker. I gotta be quiet because it's fucking 3:15 in the morning. Monthly retesting structure. Do I believe that we're gonna have the impulse next? No. I believe we could have a small candle, then the push, right? So if I'm going to see a small candle, then a push, what am I likely going to see? I'm likely going to see a rejection from the EMA, or I'm going to see price push up above the EMA, then come back the next week and yada, yada, yada. But when I'm looking at the daily, I'm like, okay. I like this, right? It's probably on the lower time frame. Yeah. I like this. Break under that EMA out of this fucking consolidation zone for a quick little pullback on the markets. After price is broken above this, it's consolidated. A nice bearish candle engulfing below would be lovely. Come back, create that overall higher low on the daily. Pull back, create sort of a higher low on the weekly potentially. And then see that weekly have a higher low to push from to push the market up in the overall trends direction of the monthly. JPY. On the monthly, we can see our prices started a potential pullback. From pretty close attention, we've had a shooting star at the bottom indicating where the potential lower high will be, then a massive dragonfly doji closing as a short, as a sort of higher low, as it did not close below the bullish engulfing shooting star, and now with price above the EMA, which lines up at the daily area of interest where price is printed a doji rejecting the higher low, holding bullish structure, and then the weekly has printed a potential wick fill with this daily pullback to the EMA area of interest, and to add to buying pressure above the monthly EMA. So what I'm looking at this, right, is when I was on about the monthly, this is like really intricate stuff right now. We're at a low. We're clearly rejecting this area at this low. Right, big fuck off wick. So you see how we have this shooting star indication for where a potential lower high could be. Where is it? Previous resistance, previous support. Indication where a potential reversal could be, right? Then we have this bearish candle, massive wick, right? But you see how it closes inside this candle, which is sort of like, if you look at the structure of that candle, it's down, up, down. It's sort of like a bullish trend, right? So you can see that like the candle structure just do this, right? Like that's what I'm seeing when I'm looking at that. And obviously and then you combine that little piece with a left head, break above support, super slow retracement to this area on the weekly, in a wick retest, so where the potential reversal is where we could see price create a push to create a potential lower high, which is same area as this. And on the daily, we happen to be bullish, rejecting the EMA, rejecting the previous higher low, rejecting the area of interest. And now we're creating a higher low. Like, my nigga. I said, my nigga, that trade is beautiful. My nigga, I might actually look to enter this trade. I'll be real with you. This is why you need to look at your markets, my brother. I try not to get too carried away, though, because you look at shit and you're like, bro, that looks so crisp. But simply that trade from here, stop loss just below this, take profit up here. Give room price to make that double bottom if need be. But we see what a 2-hour shift of structure engulfing, if we get it right. What does that indicate, shift of structure wise? That the 4-hour, right? That the 4-hour is at the low. Price shifted. It didn't really shift structure here, but we could be creating that 4-hour internal higher low to create an overall push to the upside. But understanding that the daily is bullish to continue that overall trend, the weekly is bullish to continue that overall trend. The weekly wick pullback has been created. I like that, my nigga. I like that, yeah. We're gonna write up the confluences right now as well. Right. You're telling me just because the weekly and the daily is bullish and the 4 hours bearish, you're like, oh, the 2 hours bullish though. When it comes to that, it's like, yeah, the 4 hours bearish, but the 2 hours bullish. 1 hour is bullish. Yeah, the chewing gum might be a bit fucking annoying. Like, when you got headphones on, you're like, can't tell shit. Like, fucking hell, that chewing gum's loud, mate. Like, is it? I need some tunes, man. Bear with me. There we go. Right, back to business, my nigga. Back to business. Right. Oh, cheeky. How much you want to fucking bet there's a psychological level here? Too much money I would bet on that, because there is. A lot of confluences at this, so I'll be real with you. One thing for me is, it's like, before I'd get a bit enthusiastic, a bit excited about this trade because there's so many confluences. My mind's like, oh, bro, this trade's got to be a winner. So I'm getting gassed to identify and place this trade. This market may still just go, you know, or left head, right shoulder. But I'm identifying my strategy at such a high probability area that enough of these trades, I would take this trade 10 times, 20 times, because everything's there in the strategy, which means over 10 times I'm going to be profitable 100 times, I'm going to be profitable. 10, maybe not. You might run into a losing streak or a winning streak. But over that 100, over a course of a year, taking this trade every week, you'd be profitable. And if you think about the trades like that, and you only take those trades, those are the best. You want to feel like this trade is a winner with accepting that it could be a loser. Distraction. 2 hours, shift of structure. 2 hours, looping. If we get it. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, which is baby. I'm addicted to you. 34 minutes. So what I do, right? What I like to do with myself is I like to set timers, right? 33 minutes, so we've got a 30-minute timer. NZD NZD GPY. Boom. Timer set. So every time I look at my phone, I'm reminded, okay, NZD JPY. Love you, baby. So you get the gist of what we're doing here. You get the gist of what we're doing here. Now, where was I? No, we looked at this. USD CAD. I don't think we looked at this. Did we? Yeah, we want a sell position. Yeah. GDP, as you do, motherfucker. So we're at major resistance on the monthly with a monthly tweezer top. Bumper cloud. And the weekly has shifted bearish and has seen a much smaller bullish candle to the previous week, showing that buyers are losing strength. So using the daily to identify when we see a shift in momentum to identify when the weekly may start to impulse. At the daily area of interest, price never shifted bullish, so monitoring the lower time frames 4 hour, maybe 2 hour for a shift bearish. Because this is such a big move in the making, I understand that using the 4 hour to wait for a shift of structure is unreliable, and what I need to wait for is the daily to create clear rejection and potentially shift internal structure before the weekly impulse. Patience is the game, as we could take a week or two before a high probability position whilst waiting for the weekly. Very key information. I feel like that nigga, bro, like that nigga. Mercedes Benz are soon come upon my driveway. Bad man thing, man. Told you I'm an intellectual type of nigga. Anyways, you see, we're at this area where we previously created a high low, not a high low, high low. But more importantly, it stopped all this bullish momentum. So if price is pulling up with a little bit of bullish momentum, surely this area can stop it. And we've seen that. So on the daily, I'm like, rotted, bomba clotted, pussy gonna farted. Yeah? You could take a position like this. There's like a real swing trade, and then look to take that position all the way down to these areas. But I'm not that type of trader, my friend. I'm not that type of trader. I'm a patient trader. I'll just simply wait, I don't need to be in a trade holding fucking spot fees for no reason, when I can just simply wait for an indication prices can push, then enter. Like, don't get me wrong, this is beautiful, right? I would take the 4-hour entry off of this. That lower high from this area of interest. Stop loss above. Take profit back down to these lows, maybe. We could make something work with this. I'll be real with you. We could make something work with this. It did shift structure. Overall bearish right now. If you want to trade intuitionally, right? I'll tell you, I'm slick with it, right? I may lose a lot, but I win a good amount and I win big. But you can see this, right? How this is going to create a pullback, right? This is a horrible place that you do not want to be in the trade. You know, strong resistance, strong support. So if price can break below this area, you could look to hold a position. If it rejects this area, get out of the position. I'm putting you onto some free fucking trades right now. You know, this has the potential for you to be in early, catch this momentum all the way to the downside. But you have to monitor this zone very carefully. EMA, previous support, previous resistance. Monitor that zone. If it does not break it, get out of that trade. If it does break it, stay in that bitch. But personally, mate, I ain't got no confidences. Right, apart from price being at the area of interest, 4 hour. I'm not risking my money on that. I'm waiting for an overall thing, bro. That's how I kept losing the previous weeks. I was trying to catch every little move that I was seeing instead of waiting for Euro USD, NZD JPY, where I have higher time frame confluences. So much better. That's how you become profitable. Patience and higher time frames. What are we looking for now? What are we looking for? It's tedious talking in this low tone. Pussy. Need I say much more? Pussy boy, yeah. Look at that shit. If you know, you know. If you can see it, right? It's like it's crisp, bro. It's crisp. Yeah, left head, right shot. It's crisp. Oh, babe. So people look at this and they're like, what the fuck is this nigga doing? He's having a fucking spaz attack. I'm like, no, bro. If you know, you know. If you can see what I could see, oh, my perception is just. Left head, right shoulder, right, retest the neckline. Huge potential push to the upside from the daily, from the weekly, from the monthly. Monthly closes down here, right? We see the month close, then we see the next month have a little bit of a wick. Come into this wick up here to slow down. Pussy, reach the previous highs, form a rejection on the weekly. See the daily do some shift of structure thing. Patience. I don't think that's gonna be ready. I like the look of it, so I'll look at it. I see selling potential again back down to create a monthly doji at a low, and seeing the weekly print a shooting star at a strong area of interest in combination with the daily's correctional pullback structure to the weekly area of interest and the daily EMA. I'm going to wait further confirmation on the daily in correlation with the 4-hour shifting bearish. So I'm guessing I'm looking for a sell. Potential pullback. Yeah, ideally I want to see price push up again. Push up again, reject the EMA, then break. Double top formation thing, yeah. If you could, I don't know if you can hear this or not, but like, where the fuck is Leo, mate? Send me them goddamn pictures, man. You got him. Oh, he's sending them pictures. My base fall, honestly. See the chewing gum? Music. Sign a room by yourself. You just yam away at this bitch. I don't know, no. How long has this been going? 40 fucking minutes, mate. Yeah, you know what I'm waiting for. Shift of structure, yada, yada, yada. 4 hours just pulling back beautifully to reject the EMA. Left head, right shoulder. For this to then push up to create that daily high for then price to eventually shift below, pull the EMA up into this zone for it to then push down. Come back in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We'll see how we're doing. You dig, man. That's it, man. That's really it. Big lesson, incorporate where do you think the monthly is going to stop?